Hello, everybody, and welcome to my channel. This is a very brief video. I received a some information. It was a channeling of an individual. I won't say this person's name. They're probably going to watch this video, and someone might know who this person is. But I will say that she's going to transition at this moment. She um, she has cancer. And usually, when people are ready to go to the other side, they're they let's say that the veil opens up and everything just starts to look a little clearer. They also had a channeling with a higher dimensional source of individuals, and then they had as well as well a conversation with um, Elijah, right, from the years of the Master, Jesus. Elijah was there, and they had a conversation with her about her transitioning. What happens is that when you connect with the higher dimensional beings, you tend to forget the conversation because you're meeting them at a level, right? You're raising your frequency. If this is your baseline, you're raising your frequency to meet with them at a certain point, and then you go back to your baseline. So it's almost like trying to remember a dream. You had a dream, but what was the dream about? And I usually spend the rest of the day after a dream thinking, what was it? What was it? What was it? It's not like I get bits and pieces. I think everyone's a little different. But you get these just, what happened? What's going on? What was it about? What were the circumstances that led me to having a dream? That's a great example. So I'm relaying this information for this individual that she understands that she's going to transition. She has a cancer, and I can't say how long it'll be before she does. But this is a good time for you now to just make amends as best as you can. Make amends, reach out to the people you feel that you need to reach out to, see what you're drawn to, and just live out your life as easy and as you can, as possible, and just make the best of it, right? Because then you're just going to transition, and you should say, see, I'm remembering the things of the conversations that you we had, and this is good because I'm not going to. It's not going to be better than if I make a second or third video of this, and I got it all dialed in, so that I don't get interrupted and things work out as best as they can. Uh, Usually there are circumstances where there just might be a distraction, and it's too bad because I don't feel like I relay the message very well. But I know I'm getting out of topic here. You have to ask to go home as you're transitioning out of your body. You want to go home. Home. Where's home? I want to go home. I want to go home. And that's where it'll go. What happens? There's a way station somewhere in the etheric part of the non-physical part of the world. There's an etheric world. You go there for a few days, 3 Earth days, and you transition. You're kind of just pulling away from your body and going into this relief, this good feeling that just draws you in. It's like that. If you could be resuscitated, you'd be pissed that you'd have to be here with us again, right? In that way. Um, but you'll go to the transition place. Your life gets reviewed, so to speak, right? The good and the bad, and in that way, in that case, then your spirit guides, or you have these you have these beings as angels or souls, right? Whatever you want to call them, spirits. Then they'll just give you a life path that you can go to. Now, you can choose whichever life path you want, really, if you know how. And you can, I wouldn't spend more than 72 hours, because when you pass, and it almost feels like a downward descent as you come down. The only way I can explain it, right? It's a downward descent, and then within 72 hours or so, you only be, um, you'll be about 15 years into the future. So if you were to depart the planet today, you'll be back in 2040, 25, right? You'll be back in 20 what is it now? 2040, give or take, right? And then you have to born and live out your life till about your 35 before you are then just fully aware and capable of understanding your surroundings as an adult, so then you can live out your life as it is intended for you. That's why we're born into our families, where we might have to resolve karma, the way I explained in my previous video. And part of the solution to that was that you'll know what you need to do to better yourself in this life, right? That's what's important. In that case, you'll just be surrounded in the scenarios that makes everything work for you, so that you can continue with your life, or continue with your soul journey and path, which is whatever that needs to be. In any case, choose to go home and just be back here again, so you can continue your life path, and everything will be all right. I mentioned in my previous video too how what kind of person I was and what I did back then, the 1500s, as a conquistador. Uh, there were times where I drowned as a pirate in other lives too. I just sailor, not a pirate. I think I'm overreacting, but it was a lot of sea. Sea was the way. The sea was the way to transport yourself. Like you can say you were flying to different parts of the country, different parts of the world easily. Sailing, going out to sail, was just the thing, right? To do, the way to travel, to get to where you need to be. So there was that. That's why I speak of it as a life that I can remember. And then being on the boat and actually traveling on a ship, and embarking and going to a little small island off the coast of where you are, you're gonna get these like flashbacks, sort of like a calming feeling, right? A general calm feeling, and it just kind of triggers things about you. And you could be triggered now, and maybe you won't know about the experience until a few weeks later, a month or two, and you wouldn't be able to put it together so easily. But then it'll just come to you in that way, and just the kind of things that you're drawn to, right? Um, those are the things that maybe have a reflection on your past life, on any one of your past lives. There's always more than one, and that is just that's just the way that things are, how things open up to you, right? Those that have been here and continue to come back and continue to experience Earth are the ones that make themselves more aware of there's slightly something more than just living and then dying, instead of living for a purpose and understanding that this is just a brief time before you can continue to do other things. We have to leave it in the best possible way as we can, so that we're all expecting something better for the future. Well, I wish you the best. I know who you are, and I know the person and the kind of person that you are, and how much you're worried and concerned, and that just led to the answer that was given to you by me almost immediately, right? Because you were thinking about what's going to happen and what's going on. And I'm happy that I was able to deliver this message for you as well. Also, on another note, there is going to be another brief period of transition. These are usually followed by tumultuous or just outright bad economic times, which allows you to turn inward to yourself so you can grow your soul a little bit more. So, Q1 2026 is going to be very interesting. It's um, it's just going to be a opening up of a window for you to transcend, right? For your body to be lighter and lighter itself, and you'll be able to um, leave the earth behind, right? Still live on planet Earth, but just there's just a way of detachment. You just detach in a certain way where you just don't participate in these extremes, like an election year, for example, that we have now. They just really don't you know align with what is it that you want for yourself. You don't align with those things anymore because you tend to realize of your personality, and you tend to realize more about who you are. You question who you were taught to be growing up as a kid. You question that. Also, I can say that the way that I realize how I can transcend the judgment that I place on others, I still do from time to time, and it feels like it's just a relief for me to relieve myself of just the words that just want to come out of my mouth for whatever reason, right? That all comes from your parents. I always want to say to you, look back. Who was your mom and who was your dad? How did they meet? What were their circumstances? How they lived their lives, and the things that they taught you. What are those things? How were you raised in um, under the environment that you were when you were growing up as a kid, right? The things you were told and the things that you were unaware of, or the things that happened throughout your life, and that builds your character. Builds on your, um, it builds on your watery eyes. It builds on your perception of what life is, or what it just kind of sets the mood or the theme for your life in a certain extent, and that's very important. And I did that, and I continue to do that for myself, and I can still see my teenage self looking at these sort of filters and these perceptions of what I've been taught, and I can see it how I saw it as a youngster. I can see the different angles of different people. And then not just me, just then looking at the behavior of my friends and what they believed in, and where did we align, and where did we, uh, just overlap briefly, and what were the differences between you and me. And we have differences, obviously, but still there's a higher soul purpose, and I just hate saying that. But in that case, I think it's just a fun way to interact with another individual. Like maybe, the kid that had the pool in the neighborhood, and you went out and played, and how your friends used to just ditch you if you had a flat tire on your bike, and these were supposed to be your friends, and you were hanging out, you were riding out miles away from home, and then they just ditched you. You had a flat tire, you had to carry your bike, and none of them stuck around with you. Yeah, they all just went home and left you back there. left you behind, right? So either way, just I'm living that experience constantly. And the more that your soul gets filled with the adjustments and negativity and the expectations of the human experience here, as you grow older, you realize that you're just kind of chunking away, or it's compressing more of your soul as it naturally appeared itself on the planet as a pure vessel, until your parents started putting things in you, your mom, the experiences, the way you saw this person have that kind of experience over there, older people or cousins, etc., and how that came about to make you who you are. So you can regress to, I do this, to the 18, 19, 15-year old kid of yours and live that experience yet again, which I wouldn't call it time travel specifically, but still they're your memories, and they're your soul memories, and there are actually a lot of muscle memory in there as well. And that's how I deal with it. I guess that's how I have fun with being an older adult, but still have that, charismatic, fun, outgoing personality that I had as a teenager, which just, it keeps me motivated, and it just makes it's just for me, it makes me feel fun. Who was that person then? Why am I not that person now? Right? Why shouldn't I? Why can't I be that person now? With more experience to boot. Either way, yes, let's go ahead and continue to make these videos. They're not gonna get any easier to put out for you. But if I get these experiences, if I get these channelings, and if I help this person just now, then I will continue to make them to, clear away some of my things too that I got going on. So I'd like to thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a good rest of your weekend, and then you have a great weekday when it comes around. And we'll talk to you guys next time.